a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here. We got our tech expert, Michael Emdy, in studio with us, Massive IT. Also, Jared Parker, economist here. We're going to talk the economy, real estate, what's happening in that space as well, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I want to invite you to our next event. We always do our third Thursday networking parties, gratitude events, excuse me, business mixers here. Thursday the 18th, July 18th, 6 o'clock, save the date. Come on out and join us. We're going to have apps, food, drinks provided. Kingmakers, it's a new location for us. Kingmakers, owned by Mike Murphy, owner of Murphy Auto Group. Really cool location here, 3707 West Carmen Street. This one's really cool. So you're going to have, it's almost like a sports bar set up in there, Alex. It's really cool. You got the TVs, you got the bar, you got great networking. It's a co-work space too, so check it out. There's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs there. You're going to have radio show expert contributors meet some of our team, meet our real estate agents. And these happy hours are growing. It's always a good time over there.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I don't want the listeners to be confused. I don't want you guys to think that like this is just like a sports bar that you go to. This is so much more.
Yeah.
Mike and a bunch of his other friends that are business owners and entrepreneurs all came together, and they have this think tank where you can go and just meet with equal-minded people, and you can pitch your ideas if you're trying to get into that world. Because that's what we're always trying to do. You're trying to put yourself around others that are on the same mission as you, or find the mentors that can help you with your mission. So I think that's what Mike's goal is with Kingmakers. So I'm excited. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, kind of a co-workspace / bar. You got green rooms, conference rooms in there too. He's got lockers in there, so if you want to keep things in there, you can do that as well. So awesome. Come on out Thursday the 18th. Save the date, July 18th, 6 o'clock, Kingmakers. Be there. All right, a couple of hot listings here. We always feature our listings. My wife, Lindsay, and I own a top-ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and we got a lot of hot listings here on the team as well. About 60 listings, vacant land, commercial properties, residential as well. 140 92nd Avenue in Treasure Island. This one's beautiful. I love this listing. It's one of my favorites right now. You've got 2 renovated cottages on an oversized lot. Right here in Treasure Island, Florida, one of the coolest little cities in Tampa Bay. You're close to the beach. You're about a block and a half from the beach. You're a quarter mile from a public boat launch. So bring your boats and jet skis. Enjoy this Florida living to the fullest. 140 92nd Avenue in Treasure Island. Great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Let's go up to Gainesville here. I want to talk to you about this Gainesville project we got. We got 90 units that we're representing up in Gainesville, Florida. This pre-construction luxury condos, 3100 Old Archer Road in Gainesville, Florida. Pre-construction for a limited time. My wife, Lindsay, and I own a Platinum MVP team, Keller Realty, and we're offering this beautiful development here in Gainesville. You're about 1.5 miles from the University of Florida. So any parents out there, if you're sending your kids off to school and you don't want to pay rent, buy this and rent it out. Great opportunity. 5 minutes to Shands Medical, big medical facility, Butler Plaza. You're going to have high-end luxury amenities. The developer of this place built Four Seasons hotels and other great developments across the globe. You will not be disappointed. 3101 Old Archer Road, Unit 209. We've got penthouses available from the 900s, starting in the low 400s as well. Gainesville, Florida. Great opportunity to own real estate. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. That's right. Shout out to our troops out there, all of our veterans. We love you. Thanks so much for defending our country and making America great. All right, Michael Emdy, welcome in. Massive IT, man. Good to see you.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. So there's always a lot going on in the tech space. There's no shortage of topics, man. You got artificial intelligence. You got business owners getting hacked. So many things to talk about. Where do you want to start?
I would probably start with the latest in the automotive side, which is CDK, who's a vendor to all the car dealerships and automotive verticals, trucking, you name it. And they ended up getting hacked. And it shut down all their dealer management systems.
Wow.
And the car dealerships. You go to Premier Lexus right now up in Wesley Chapel or somewhere. In front of their website says, our systems are currently down due to circumstances beyond our control.
Wow.
And they've been down for days, weeks.
Man.
Right?
Wow. That's a lot of lost revenue.
That's a lot of lost revenue. A lot of dealerships, a lot of cars. They're writing tickets by hand right now.
Ooh. I was wondering why on Mike Murphy's Murphy Auto Group, I saw on his site something about we have not been hacked or whatever. So I guess that's big in the auto industry.
That's exactly what it is. And the auto industry is really, perking up about, hey, we've been doing business this way this whole time, right? Margins are razor thin for those guys. And, putting budgets into things like security, which affects all business owners.
Right.
I've got this server in the corner. I've had it over there for 10 years. Like, what's the problem? Like, it only cost me $500, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Suddenly you want me to pay $5,000 a month? Like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Until something like this happens.
Right. So you have the cost of that versus the opportunity cost, or you got. So they're, in other words, from an economic standpoint, they're looking at sunk costs. This is what we already have. Yeah. So as a business owner, you help business owners prepare for those types of ideas.
Absolutely, and the converse of that is, this was CDK, the vendor that's you're reliant upon. So are you doing vendor vetting? Are you asking your vendors, hey, do you have a password? Do you have an antivirus system? Password management? Do you have these security tools, basic security protections in place? Everybody has to have them. If your vendors don't have them, CDK, the results of what happened are still pending, so we'll find out. But, they could have been compromised through, maybe they didn't have something in place, or maybe they were just legitimately hacked. It'll happen.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, it could still happen. Right? And
how did it happen, do you think? Or how would it happen?
Typically, it's usually from the inside. And I don't mean maliciously. I mean someone does something on the inside, opens a door.
Clicked on something.
Downloads something, allows something to happen. It usually happens from the inside, inadvertently, right?
Got it.
Not maliciously. It can, but typically not.
Yeah.
And so that's what usually happens in most organizations. And so you need to put those protections in place as a business owner,
right.
Executive leadership, to prevent those things from happening and lower your risk as much as you can. You will never eliminate it, never. But you need to lower it as much as you can, and putting those tools in place. And at the end of the day, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's a huge risk. Look at where they're at today.
Yeah.
Right? You're losing revenue every day because you can't write sales and contact the bank, get loan information, do credit checks, all that sort of stuff, right? They're back to pen and paper and telephone.
Yeah, you're back into the 80s now.
Yeah. Welcome to the 80s.
Welcome back to the 80s. Yeah, that's right. Michael Emdy in studio with us. Massive IT is his company. He's our local expert contributor. All things technology. Technology's in the news too. Michael, there's an interesting story that I pulled off of LinkedIn. It says, talking about this Apple and Meta, it says, turns out they're not so chummy after all. Following a weekend report that Apple and Meta were discussing an AI partnership, Bloomberg's Gurman writes that while the two were tech giants were held brief talks in March, no formal agreement was reached. Apple reportedly does not want to move forward in a partnership with Meta, in part because it doesn't see its privacy features strong enough. So kind of similar topic here.
Yeah, and I think this ties back to data privacy at the end of the day. And I don't think we all grasp the magnitude of data privacy and how it's going to affect us in the future, right? Look at China and how they use social scoring systems to shame you into doing things or not doing things, molding behavior, right? What if social shaming is used to influence your vote?
Yeah.
And who's going to become president? What if social shaming is used to determine whether or not you get a car loan? Right? You have all of these different things that these data points, this phone you're walking around with has GPS. Your car has GPS.
Right.
If you looked at the privacy policy on, your Mercedes, your Toyota, your Corvette, your whatever it is, you would see that they're collecting all kinds of data about you. How fast you drive, where you go, how long you've been in the car, how long it sits idle, where it's been, everything. And it's got a microphone in it, right? You have Bluetooth. You can talk on the phone in your car.
Yep.
It's a microphone. They can record what you're saying. They can record conversations in the car.
And they are.
Right? And when you're saying, hey, Siri, hey, Mercedes, hey, Toyota, hey, Chevy, whatever it is you're saying to the car to activate the voice assistant, it's listening.
Hey, Google in your home.
Hey, Google in your home. So all of this data is being collected, and especially with the cell phone, right?
It's everywhere.
When you take it with you in the bathroom, to the shower, to the whatever, to wherever you go, video, audio. Do you trust that they don't turn on the microphone? Do you trust that they don't turn on the camera?
No.
Right? And then you're storing all your pictures and everything in the cloud, iCloud, Google Cloud, whatever, all of your photos. Have you heard of facial recognition?
Yeah.
Right? Can I pinpoint you with somebody else at a place that has, because there's a geo mapping on the photo.
Right.
It knows longitude and latitude of where it was taken.
Right.
So I know where you were, when you were, and who you were with.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, man. It really is. It's very interesting. And, speaking of that, there was, some videos floating out there of the president, kind of getting pulled off stage and then John Pierre, the press secretary, says, "Oh, those are cheap fakes." Or she tried to remember that word. She kind of invented a
deep
word called
fakes, cheap
yeah.
fakes.
She called it deep fake, cheap fakes. But
you got to say it like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
Jean Pierre.
Yeah, Jean Pierre. So isn't that interesting though? So now they're using that as an excuse for him, shuffling off stage or getting stuck in a position or something.
Yeah. You have to look at that and say, well, suddenly legitimacy is given to this circumstance. Right? Before we were like, deep fakes, who's doing that? Who knows?
Right.
Do you know how to do that? I don't know how to do that. Do you know?
Exactly.
That doesn't really happen.
Right.
But now the federal government is now giving legitimacy to the deep fake.
Yeah.
That it can be done.
Right.
It is being done. Are
Right.
you kidding? It is being done.
Yep. And we've seen it. We've seen it on different advertisements, right? You see the Facebook links where they're saying, "Hey, link over here." So what do we do as consumers then? How do we protect ourselves as consumers?
Common sense.
Okay.
Checks and balances, right? We've become so complacent, so reliant on the technology, right? Do you know the phone numbers of your friends, loved ones?
A handful. I could
Yeah.
probably say about a handful on my hand. Yeah.
10 years ago in the 80s, remember the 80s?
Oh, I used to write them down. I'd have them with me.
You could rattle them off, you could dial them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I knew dozens, hundreds of numbers, right?
Yep.
Now we're so complacent, so reliant on technology that we just take for granted. We trust everything.
Yeah.
And I think for a while that was a great bell curve where we could trust everything.
Right.
Now they've figured out all these data points and all these things they could do. The attackers are doing the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. And have you seen those things that says opt into this so you get more targeted ads that mean more to you, right? So that you and I don't get feminine hygiene commercials, right? Things like that.
Right.
But they're figuring out that, hey, I know what you like. I know what you do. I know what you have. I know where you are. So I'm going to take advantage of that and exploit it. And then I'm going to send you things, or I know who your kids are or who your wife is or whatever.
Yep.
And it's really coming at you and you can't trust anymore, right?
Yeah.
How many 70% of Twitter were bots that were posting?
Yeah. When Elon bought it, that's what they figured out, right?
Reddit. If you look at if I pull up Reddit and you pull up Reddit and look at the same article, the same posting, they don't have the same comments, right? So if I said, "Hey, Brandon, look at this posting and look at the comment. Look how funny this is, or look how interesting this is," and you say, "I don't have that." Why?
Yeah.
It's not the same information.
Different people. Yeah.
Different people.
You got
Different
bots
algorithm.
involved. Yep.
Yeah. Giving you a different version of the data, different version of the truth.
Got it. Exactly. No, that's true, man. It's crazy.
They're manipulating your reality.
Yeah.
They're manipulating
Yeah,
your
Google.
reality.
And it's supposedly targeted, customized for you,
Yeah.
right? You want to see this comment. You wouldn't care about that other thing, right? It knows what you like.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
how-
going to present you what you like.
Manipulation.
Another big question, too. So we're talking with Michael Emdy, Massive IT, is how is Google not a monopoly at this point with controlling 96+% of searches, and then get some of the
kinda are.
political games too, right? Yeah. Well,
Who says they aren't?
Yeah. I think they are.
Well, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton had brought a case last year. I remember reporting on it. But yeah, I mean that's another deep question, right? And then when you remember, I forgot the gentleman's name, but we played clips on here before that he was former government contractor with Blackwater, or one of those security firms. Alex, you remember that? We talked about Unplugged. He invented his own phone. So if you want to get away from Droid, and
I know this guy.
another consolidation, the two choices we have, iPhones and Droids or Google phone,
Black
right?
phone, yeah.
The 3 or 4 phones we have is Unplugged. So his whole thing is, hey, you're not going to be followed like this, and you're not going to have your privacy infringed. Now, we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, maybe we'll chat about that here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Michael Emdy in studio, Massive IT. Also, we got to talk about artificial intelligence, another area of concern for consumers here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes1 at CQB Show. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be right back here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify. Or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Lindsay Rhymes here with Archer Place in Gainesville, Florida. Our luxury condo community is located only 1.5 miles from the University of Florida, 5 minutes to Shands Medical and Butler Plaza. Our buyers love the high-end luxury amenities in their building, including a state-of-the-art fitness facility equipped with Pelotons, the resort-style temperature-controlled pool accompanied with cabanas and grills, and the gourmet chef's kitchen in our clubhouse that overlooks the pool. We have pre-construction pricing only for a limited time, with floor plans ranging from a 1-bedroom, 1-bath to 2-floor penthouses with plunge pools. Starting in the low 400,000s to the high 900s, investors, parents sending their young adults off to school, medical professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs alike are investing in these residences. Reach out to us today at 727-263-3707 to get more information.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We've got Michael Emdy in the house, massive IT. We're going to continue this conversation around artificial intelligence as well as the unplugged phone. Is that a valid, opportunity to get away from the big guys that we know that are collecting data and things of that sorts. But we got some hot listings here in Tampa Bay. Beautiful properties available for sale. Lots of listings, 60 current listings, residential vacant land, commercial properties as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. This one's 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South, St. Petersburg. This has a beautiful open floor plan, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2236 square feet. And culinary enthusiasts will delight in the fully renovated kitchen, open floor plan, moments from award-winning beaches as well. 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South, St. Pete. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay. We got another listing here at 8333 New York Avenue in Hudson. This one's a cash cow. You got about $6,000 a month in income coming in. There's 3 single-family homes being rented. You also have a warehouse there, so it's kind of a mixed-use C3 zoning. 1.5 acres on New York Avenue in Hudson. Owners are motivated, bring offers. You have a warehouse there, office spaces, and also opportunity to park RVs and boats and other items there as well. 8333 New York Avenue in Hudson, another one of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right. Lee's Royal Services. Check out Lee. He's our new cleaning partner for the Consumer Quarterback Show. I would highly recommend you reach out to Lee if you want to get some cleaning done in your home, your commercial buildings. Lee'sRoyalServices.com. He's also a handyman service as well. Does a great job on our properties. Lee'sRoyalServices.com. Home and office cleaning. Check him out online. Lee'sRoyalServices.com. Make sure you let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take him up on those special offers. All right, Michael, back to you. Talking about artificial intelligence and also this unplugged phone. It's kind of an interesting play where we're at here.
I think you're going to see a lot more equipment like that. Right, there's a couple of those. The black phone, the unplugged phone. There's a couple more that are out there who were, one, doing it for security,
Yeah.
Saying that, hey, this is built here, manufactured here, assembled here, et cetera. But also others that are just trying to just do something built in the U.S., right?
Yeah, exactly.
And outside of Apple and Huawei and Google, right?
Yep.
Because you've only got a handful of manufacturers right now who've been around forever.
Yeah,
at this
exactly.
point.
Need more competition. It seems like that, and that's one of the things that seems like our federal government's gotten away from. Is they used to break up monopolies. They used to say, "Hey, no, this isn't right." Is it lobbyist? I mean, what's the
Well, I
reasoning?
think it's part of the heated off-cam discussion we were just having. Is that these guys that are in Congress, we're starting to see some younger generation, younger blood come in.
Yeah.
But the older generations, which I mean, I'm guilty of. I just happen to be in a position in a role of what it is that I know what I know.
Yeah.
But others are not in that same situation of knowing the technology, what can happen, and how it works, and they think, well, there's a piece of paper. It says it won't do this. Well.
Exactly.
It's just a piece of paper. It's not stopping anyone from abusing or using this, device or this technology in any way. Elon Musk called out Apple on their use of data privacy, putting it in the phone, because he knows they're going to turn on the camera, they're going to turn on the microphone, they're going to harvest all the data out of there. Somebody is at some point.
And I really think people should listen more. I'm not saying you got to follow him and he's like a guru, somebody that you must worship and follow, but he is. There's no denying whether you like his personality or not. He is a tech expert, and
Agreed.
if he is telling you, guys, he's got all kinds of money, bro. He can invest in whatever he wants. So if he goes, I wouldn't put my money in this, man. And not only is he not putting his money in this, like say AI, for example, if he could just say, I don't want to put my money in this. He can go and start his own competitive company of it.
Well,
but he goes, I don't want to deal with it because they're going to misuse this and abuse this. So anytime he's saying something, don't touch it, don't participate, you should probably pay attention.
Well, what did he start his own, or what's
he started out with OpenAI, helping them develop the concept,
right?
And then it evolved to the point to where it is, and he got out of it.
He didn't like where they were going with it.
This is not the right direction to go with this, right? And when he did that, then he got out, and then he opened his own AI company to do his own thing. With a different direction. So exactly right. But the older generation, especially in the legislative side, don't understand the technology and implications.
Right.
The whole Zuckerberg interviews, right, in Congress.
Oh my God, yeah.
Zuckerberg was smiling the whole time because I know what he was thinking. I would have been thinking the same thing.
They had no clue what they were asking.
You guys are asking me all the wrong questions.
The dumbest questions, and he'll try to answer you, and then they don't understand the answer, and he's like.
And no matter what
I'm answering you, dude.
We got 1 minute, about a minute left. I wanted to try to get this story in. FBI cracks down on rental price fixing scheme, raiding company that uses software to raise housing costs of housing. FBI raided Cortland's offices in Arizona to investigate an illegal price fixing scheme involving AI-driven rent control software. So there you go. About a minute left. Back to you.
Yeah, same thing applies across the board. Hackers, even legitimate corporations, are finding loopholes where they can manipulate things, use it, right? Think about how stock trading is going to go, right? There's good faith in stock trading. Like you make a trade and you're not supposed to sell it before it goes this. You have to hold it a day or two. That's the good faith rule, right? It's not a law, but it's a rule. Well, if you have these bots doing AI making trades in microseconds.
Yeah, exactly.
How's that going to affect the market? That's not how the stocks were designed. The stocks were designed to buy it, hold it, invest in a company.
Correct.
Not to mention that there's a forecast that there's a 10 to 20% chance of AI-related global disaster. That's Elon Musk is, his info.
When does AI screw up?
Exactly.
And on what magnitude?
MassiveIT.com.
Correct.
MassiveIT.com. Michael Emdy, tech expert. All your questions, all your any business audits, any personal use, commercial use, talking about technology, protect yourself. Talk to Michael Emdy, MassiveIT.com. Michael, thanks for coming in, man.
Come see us.
All right, Jared Parker coming up next. We got economist here in studio with us, Regional Economic Consulting Group. We're going to talk with Jared Parker coming up here on the show. Follow us online, connect with us as well at CQB Show, at Brandon Rhymes 1, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show. We're in studio here with Jared Parker. He is an economist, Regional Economic Consulting Group, does a lot of studies, and we're going to talk about the economy and get an update from him. Economic forecast, what's on the horizon for the economy here coming up as well on the program. Quick shout out to our friends Solar Bear over at Solar Bear for solar. All your solar needs, reach out to Solar Bear. and it's online at solarbear.com. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. You know, we love solar. We've got 52 panels on our roof at home, and it's utilizing the sun's photovoltaic energy that's provided there free of charge. You're harnessing that, pumping it into your breaker box throughout your home. Solarbear.com, solarbear.com. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Say hello to Blake Ambrester over at Solar Bear. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air. Our strategy works. It helps us sell our listings faster for more money, maximizing the exposure on the sale. 4931 Northeast 22nd Terrace in Ocala, Florida. We have a property for sale that's a single-family home in a great area here in Tampa Bay. Owners motivated. We just did a price drop on this one at 4931 Northeast 22nd Terrace. This one's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 32 square feet, highly sought-after neighborhood. No HOA fee. You got a fireplace in there, lighter color kitchen and cabinets, tile flooring. Beautiful single-family home with nice curb appeal. You're close to downtown Ocala, the World Equestrian Center, shopping, schools, and parks. It's also a great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. You can see 4931 Northeast 22nd Terrace, Ocala on our website as well. 7325 Skybird Road in Bradenton, Florida. This one's unit number 399 on Skybird Road. Now, this one is a open floor plan, 20 square foot condo with lake views. Remodeled within the last year. Lots of updates. Got granite counters, wood cabinetry, stainless steel appliances. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage at 7325 Skybird Road, number 399 in Bradenton, Florida. New AC, washer, dryer, freshly painted interior. Now, you have an 81-foot lagoon-style heated community pool, clubhouse, fitness center, catering, kitchen, and more, close to the Gulf beaches as well. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Check out platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Jared Parker back in studio with us, Regional Economic Consulting Group. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, man. So what's the latest update? I know you do a lot of rent studies and economic studies, and you're actually asked by different municipalities to do these types of studies. What's going on?
Oh, lots of stuff. I know we just recently, one of our big clients is actually independent colleges and universities of Florida. So we do a lot of data collection for them, database management. They have, it's always a battle between the private schools, the nonprofit private schools, and the public schools for funding up in Tallahassee. So we try to just sit out there, collect the data on the schools, and try to give a good picture of who the private nonprofits are. Because a lot of the times, a lot of these guys, you think they're $50,000, $60,000 a year, like something like Harvard. And that's not really the case. They're specific vocational schools, specific skill sets. If you're Embry-Riddle, they're focusing on airline pilots.
Yep.
If you're over University of Tampa is just a good all-around business-based college.
Okay.
And then, of course, you have the big schools like University of Miami that can compete with any national school across the country. So we try to go in there and collect data and give ideas to the legislators so they can suss out, is our money paying back? Are they getting an ROI on the tax dollars that we invest locally to these colleges? Or should we be giving it more to the public schools? And, our position's always been that you need to fund as much education as you can.
Right.
It doesn't really matter necessarily where. It's just as long as the money's getting spent well.
That's interesting. That's kind of a paradigm shift for me because I would think that public universities get it. Some of the others don't. So you mentioned independent colleges and universities. Is that kind of a co-op or kind of a...
It's an association. So it's you have a general association. They have 30 member schools. The biggest one is University of Miami, Rollins, Stetson, University of Tampa, and then we have a number of smaller ones: Ringling, Eckerd over in St. Pete, St. Leo that you might see around.
Yep.
There's Jacksonville University, JU, up in North Florida. So it's a number of institutions. They do not get a lot of funding from the state at all.
Okay.
They'll get little projects here and there where they might get $4 or $5 million. They do have like a voucher program you see for the private high schools. You always see vouchers.
Yeah.
Well, they do a similar thing at the college level called EASE, E-A-S-E. It's effective access to student education, I think is what it stands for. Anyhow, it's about $3,000 per student, and that student can take that voucher and spend it to any of these schools. So our role is to help justify, should we keep using a voucher? And the way I look at it is that if you do it for the local private schools, for the high school level, why wouldn't you want to do it at the college level? And it's not necessarily that the voucher is guaranteed to go to a specific school. That You can take the voucher to any school. So the schools still have to compete with each other for that voucher money.
Got it.
Just like they would for regular tuition.
Interesting.
And we did a study, cost comparison study, to figure out, how does private education stack up per credit hour to the public schools if you remove the subsidies that we pay to the public schools. And it turns out they are neck and neck. It's about $1,500 a credit hour is how much it costs to get educated by Florida State, or it's how much it costs to get educated by a school like University of Tampa. The difference, though, is that the taxpayer pays about $5 billion a year to the state university system.
Wow.
And they pay to the private system less than $200 million.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, do you get into the pay structure for the teachers?
A little bit. Yeah, we look at, so when we strip out how much does it cost a credit hour, we sit there, we look at teacher salaries, we look at student support services, academic support services, just in general instruction spending.
Right.
Because, you don't want to get athletics and some of the more ancillary processes sucked in there. Like if you have like an ancillary business incubator system, University of Tampa does a lot of incubators to help entrepreneurs get up on their feet. That's not really going to the cost of educating the student. So we like to trim that kind of stuff out. University of Miami has a large hospital system. We try to trim that out. We just look at spending in the classroom.
Got it.
And we find that typically it's about 80 cents per dollar that's spent in the classroom goes to education, specifically of the student. Whereas with the private schools, it's a little over $1.
Okay.
So
wow. Interesting.
Yeah, it's they spend a little bit more per student on education because they're not these massive behemoth organizations with a lot of bureaucratic overhead.
Right. Yeah, if you just joined us, folks, we're talking with Jared Parker, Regional Economic Consulting Group here in Tampa Bay and, of course, throughout the state as well. You do a lot in Tallahassee as well when you're going up there. You got a lot of connections in that space. What's new in the real estate space?
Well, we just released, so we partner with a group called Florida Tax Watch up in Tallahassee, run by Dominic Calabro, and they've been around for about 40 years, actually almost 50 years. They do a ton of different issues, and it's all taxpayer centric to sit there and say, is the taxpayer getting a good deal?
Okay.
One of the big issues they worked on a few years ago was reducing the commercial rent tax and trying to make it so you don't have to pay sales tax on your rent. Anyhow, that group, we've recently joint released a forecast for the state of Florida, looking at the economy. We have about 350 variables that range anywhere from tourism, real estate, construction, employment, wages, salaries. I mean, you can think of it, it's pretty much in there. And Tax Watch released it. And, I mean, long story short, we're going to see, I think we're looking at a little bit of not a downturn, but a slowdown. I think COVID really ramped up the speed of how fast the Florida GDP was moving and how fast the economy was growing. Had a ton of migration coming into the state.
Right.
And, that's not unlimited.
Yeah.
Eventually, the people that are going to move here are here.
Seems like it's slowed down a little bit at this point.
And it's not creeping along either. I mean, some states are losing population. Florida, on the other hand, at the peak of COVID, we were gaining over 1,000 people per day.
Yeah, what's our numbers at now? Do you know?
It's down around 900.
900 a day.
And that number will probably drop to about 800. I mean, the specific number is 828 people by 2033. Wow. So you still see, if you have 828 people move to Florida in a single day, you still need a third of those need houses constructed because where are they going to live?
Right.
Same thing. They need jobs. They need income.
Yeah.
So there's still, it's a lot of growth still to come.
Such a balance, right?
Yeah.
You got to balance all that, the reresources, and you sometimes wonder, are we going to be, at what point are we full? Like those social media memes, we full, It's like, at what point can our water handle it? Yeah. At what point can our sewer systems handle it, right? Exactly. Roadways.
That's the exact stuff we look at. We sit there and we look at capacity.
Yeah.
We did a study for the Department of Commerce, Florida Department of Commerce down in Monroe County. And every 10 years they want to issue another set of permits, right? So right now they're looking at issuing, I think it's 3,555 or 35, something like that. About 3,500 permits.
Building permits?
Building permits for homes over 10 years.
Okay.
And the thing about the keys is the keys are full.
Wow.
So if you're going to go ahead and release 3,500 new homes, that means you're going to have about 2.5 times that. So you're talking about 9,000 new residents, right? 9 to 10,000 new residents.
So what are you going to do? Go vertical?
They need cars. Well, yeah, potential, or they're going to have to build not condos, but apartments.
Yeah.
And the Keys have an issue because they don't have any workforce housing.
Right.
And a lot of the people that work jobs in Key Largo travel in from Homestead.
Yeah.
So they do need more people, but then again, where are you going to put them?
Yeah.
And as long as you constrict that supply, the cost of living in the Keys are just going to keep ballooning.
Right.
So it's like, how do you alleviate it?
Yeah.
And you're balancing infrastructure, you're balancing where you're living, you're balancing the jobs that these people need, like the jobs you need.
Yeah.
I mean, you do need all ranges of salaries. You need the millionaire, but you also need the guy making $30,000-$40,000 a year.
Right.
And it's getting that right mix into the area.
Yeah, such an interesting ecosystem when you look at all these different variables, trying to take that into account, all the different variables there. But yeah, that's interesting. What about specifically here for Tampa Bay? By the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with Jared Parker, Regional Economic Consulting Group. He's an economist here and a friend of the program. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Tampa Bay, what are we looking at going forward?
Tampa is still the epicenter of all the growth here in Florida. We have the land that South Florida doesn't have. We have the skilled jobs that places like Jacksonville and even Orlando do not necessarily have. Orlando's kind of tech centric, and you have the Space Coast is right there, and you have a lot of the advanced manufacturers. What puts Tampa in a good position is that we're diversified. We don't depend on tourism like St. Pete does,
right,
or Orlando does. We don't depend on a super heavy manufacturing sector. We have a large port. We have huge amount of financial industry here in the city. It's just, and then you have locals, right? You have people like Jeff Vinnick that invest so much and help plan where a lot of the development's going.
Yeah.
It sets Tampa up in such a unique position that you really don't find anywhere else in the entire country.
Yeah, that's true.
I know when 1,000 people a day were moving here, about 250 of them were coming specifically to Tampa.
Yeah.
And Wesley Chapel, North Florida, or North Tampa, New Tampa, that area, that's some of the fastest growing real estate in the country.
Yeah, this Pasco, you got East Hillsborough County still out towards Waimama, some of these different areas. But like you said, it's the outskirts. We're kind of growing on the outskirts. We do have land. And then, to me, it's like back to the question of infrastructure, traffic. It just seems like that's going to be a challenge for us going forward, Jared.
Yes. Yeah, there's a trust fund called the State Transportation Trust Fund. They just got another, I think it's about $5 billion a year in state funds, and then they contract the money out. They have what's called a work program, and they have that work program is the current year plus the next 5 years, and it's basically $30 billion in lockdown contracts, and every year you get another $5 billion. They write another $5 billion worth of contracts. Wow. 5-6 years out, right? So they just doubled. I think they ended up getting about $4 billion on top of all the revenue coming in for infrastructure.
Wow.
I mean, Tallahassee definitely sees that Florida is, stretched thin on our roadways, and we need more of them.
So they're planning for it. It's like what is the solution? Do you go up to a second level, kind of like with the Leroy Salmon Expressway, things like that?
You can do stuff. You can do tricks like that. Other ways is just completely new routes, just to kind of reroute traffic and figure out where people are moving. I mean, the thing about traffic, when you do traffic planning, and this is something we do, it's the people. And it's following where the growth is and where the bodies are, because they need the roads, right? You can't have a house without a road.
Not only where they live, but where they're going to commute to.
Right.
Where they're going to work at.
Right. And so it's like, could you do a double-decker in downtown Tampa? Sure. But if a lot of the people are moving out to New Tampa, and you have a lot of open land, you're going to have to start expanding those roadways there.
Yeah.
And it gets tricky, because if you don't do it soon enough, you end up like Pinellas County.
Yeah, exactly. Pinellas. Luckily, we've got that new one that's crossing over. But let's take a quick break there. More with Jared Parker, Regional Economic Consulting Group here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. Connect with us at Brandon Rhymes1 at CQB Show. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd love for you to connect, subscribe. You'll see all of our new content once it's posted there as well, online at consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Lindsay Rhymes here. My husband Brandon and I own the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams, and our team of seasoned agents is ready to help you buy, sell, invest, and love the life you live here in Tampa Bay. Communication, execution, customer service, and bulletproofing transactions are really where our team shines. We service Hillsborough, Pinellas, Manatee, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus counties, and we have seasoned agents in residential, luxury land, and commercial divisions. Reach out to us, your Christian realtors, and let us help empower you with the right knowledge to make smart decisions with your next transaction. Call us at 727-263-3707 today. Again, that number is 727-263-3707.
Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. You can reach me at 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Hey, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show. Jared Parker in studio with us, Regional Economic Consulting Group. He's a local economist. We're talking about what to expect, what you're looking at going forward here, real estate-wise, traffic development-wise, more. We're going to dive deep more into that conversation with Jared Parker here as well. I want to give a shout out to Heights Soft Wash, our pressure washing company for the Consumer Quarterback Show. HeightsSoftWash.com. Check him out online. Ramin is the owner. I've known him for many, many years. He does a great job here in Tampa Bay cleaning our real estate properties, residential properties. HeightsSoftWash.com. Highly recommend you give Ramin a call and his team. Make sure you let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got 3101 Old Archer Road in Gainesville. Great opportunity to buy pre-construction units. These you're going to get 10% off just by going under contract while it's a pre-construction pricing for a limited time here. This one's in Gainesville. Of course, you're just a mile and a half from the University of Florida. You're 5 minutes from Shands Medical and Butler Plaza. Great opportunity to buy and invest in real estate in Gainesville, Florida. We got 1 and 2 bedrooms opportunities, 3 bedrooms, of course, on our penthouses, 400s to the high 900s as far as price point. High-end luxury amenities in the building, state-of-the-art fitness equipment, Pelotons, resort-style, temperature-controlled pool. You have cabanas and grills, gourmet kitchen in the clubhouse as well. 3101 Old Archer Road, unit number 209 in Gainesville, but we got 90 pre-construction units available. We are representing the developer up there, and you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down.
All right, Jared Parker, one of the challenges we're seeing too is this, again, kind of going into the political scene is just the Chinese buying up farmland around our military bases and just farmland in general. Here's a quick clip.
There's a trend now. We're seeing these Chinese companies coming in or individuals coming in, and they're specifically buying up farmland right around our military installations. You would think with an FBI that can find grandma from January 6th, they would be paying attention to things like this, or even the CIA. You would think there'd be somebody at the DOD that would have been raising the red flag here going, we've got a major problem. We got to make sure this is stopped. And now we look at the entire U.S. map and all of our biggest military installations, and there is literally farmland surrounding. I mean, I look at Fort Liberty, and I was actually there and went on base last year.
Yep.
This area around, it's not like it's a little sliver. It's almost encompassing the entire Fort Liberty base, which is a massive base with farmland all around it.
Yeah, so that's happening here locally too, Jared. That was Ted Cruz podcast, by the way, Ben Ferguson. But it's happening around MacDill. It's happening throughout the country. It just seems like a crazy thing to allow. I don't think other countries allow foreign governments to come in and purchase around their military bases, do they?
Not that I know.
Right? Yeah, it's to me, it's just insane that we're allowing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I know we had this too when you go back a little bit back in time to the early 90s with the Japanese. They would buy up everything. And it's, part of the reason, there's some of, I don't know, who knows why they're buying it around bases. But, there is an incentive for a lot of, especially in China, to buy real estate in the U.S. Because it's a way to move money and get it out of China. Because a lot of, when you're in the party, if you're in the Chinese Communist Party, you basically get unlimited credit. You get all the money in the world that you could ever borrow at virtually no interest rate. It's just free money.
Interesting.
So if you have that, and the party's huge, right? There's millions upon millions of Chinese in the Communist Party.
Yep.
And you have that access to that cash. What they do is they'll just spend whatever it takes to get that money out of the country and buy hard assets or land or real estate, what have you, in other countries as a way to have a hedge against whatever happens in China.
Yeah, because isn't their economy kind of struggling right now too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have. It's hard to say because you just don't know what's true and what's not coming out of China. But
right, exactly.
Some of the stuff we do know is they do have a demographic issue. The one-child policy is has finally started to backfire.
Yes, exactly.
They had all this crazy growth in the early 2000s, and basically what happens is when an economy urbanizes, lifespans get longer and childbirth rates go down. So when you urbanize extremely quickly, those two things happen very fast. And if lifespans get longer and you're not spending all the money on having kids, you have a lot of extra money in your pocket. And then you can buy up and consume, and you can make your GDP explode. But then what happens is people get old.
They age.
And there's no underlying population to support that older population.
Yeah.
Creates what's called an inverse pyramid effect. So China's going through that right now.
Yeah.
And it happens because China is such a big country. It's happening in stages. So we're seeing a lot of this in the rural area, especially when it comes to food production and raw material development. Which is what they need.
That's their biggest need, right?
Yeah, it's their huge
pork bellies. They love pork bellies.
They're the largest consumers of pork in the world.
They are, yeah.
And what happens is that raw material, they can't produce the inputs to run their economy.
Right.
Whereas in the urban areas, the populations are actually a little bit younger. So
that's why they're going down to Africa and taking resources down there. And just
they're going there. They're going
Peru. They're building that $3.5 billion port in Peru.
They don't have, even regardless of the population, they don't have enough goods in the ground to feed the Chinese economy.
Exactly.
It's not like the U.S.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of on that path, too. We need to turn it around. I hear Charlie Kirk talking a lot about it as well. Jared, that's about our time for today, my friend. How do you want people to connect?
Just go to my website, regionaleconomicconsulting.com. There's a big Contact Us button right there, and just go through that, and you can reach out to us.
Awesome. Yep, he can do some studies for you and put you in touch with people, and great connector as well. Jared Parker, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Hey, another great show. We had Michael Emdy as well, Jared Parker, Alex Lima, of course, in the co-pilot seat producing the show. Appreciate everybody behind the scenes making it happen. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1 at CQB Show. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Consumer Quarterback Show, online at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.